Let's talk about a situation where the only way to unlock your true potential is to be pushed to the absolute edge. Today, we're diving into a powerful story about a really lazy young man, his sick father, and this incredible lesson about where real strength actually comes from. It's one of those tales about hitting rock bottom only to discover a power you had inside you all along.
So the story kicks off with a scene that, let's be honest, probably sounds a little familiar to some of us, a totally frustrated father just trying to get his son, Dheeraj, out of bed. But this daily battle between responsibility and laziness, it's about to come to a very sudden, very dramatic end.
All right, so let's get to know our main guy, Dheeraj. His mother has passed away, and he lives alone with his dad. But instead of stepping up, he's basically become a complete deadweight, just sleeping his life away while his poor, elderly father works himself to the bone just to keep a roof over their heads. And you can really see the massive gap between these two, can't you? On one side, you've got the father, who is all about responsibility, even though he's getting weaker every single day. And on the other side, there's Dheeraj. He's got all the physical strength in the world, but zero will to use it. They're polar opposites. And you just know this whole situation is a ticking time bomb.
So yeah, as you can imagine, his reputation around the village is in absolute tatters. Everyone knows him as the lazy guy, and to get away from all the judgment and the mocking, he just escapes to the forest to sleep. But this little bubble he's created for himself, it's about to pop.
And then, one morning, everything just stops. The usual routine of arguing and making excuses is just gone, replaced by this really scary silence, the kind of quiet that tells you something is very, very wrong.
For the very first time, Dheeraj actually wakes up before his father. He goes to check on him and finds him incredibly sick, burning up with a fever, not even strong enough to get out of bed. And the reality of his father's fragility, this man who has carried him his whole life, it just hits him like a ton of bricks.
So the village doctor comes, and the news is just devastating. This isn't just a cold, it's a serious infection, a true life-or-death emergency. The situation is absolutely dire, and the only solution has a massive price tag.
Just look at that number. For a guy who's never worked a day in his life, 60,000 rupees might as well be 60 million. It's this impossibly high mountain he has to climb, and the person he loves most in the world is at the top.
So what does he do? He panics, he runs for help, and just gets door after door slammed in his face. Everyone turns him down. And it's not just because they're cruel. It's because he has a reputation. For years, he's proven he can't be trusted. Their message is loud and clear. Why on earth should we help you now?
And that's when it all comes crashing down on him. Right there, weeping under that same old tree he always slept under, he finally gets it. The real price of his laziness wasn't just losing respect. It was about to cost him his father's life.
Okay, so just when you think it's all over, that there's absolutely no way out, a familiar face shows up. And this encounter is going to change everything. This is the real turning point of the story.
It's that wise Brahmin, right? The guy who had yelled at him for being lazy under this exact same tree. He finds Dheeraj totally broken. But instead of saying, "I told you so," he sees that this time the despair is real. And he offers him something unexpected. Not cash, but this little pouch. And he tells him, this is magic ash. It's going to get rid of your laziness and give you the strength you need.
And here's the brilliant part. The Brahmin doesn't just say, "Here's some magic, good luck." No, he gives them a super simple step-by-step plan, a concrete set of instructions he can start doing right here, right now.
So now, Dheeraj has these two things he has never ever had before. A desperate, powerful reason to work, and something to believe in, even if it's just a little bit of magic ash. And for the first time in his life, he gets to it.
And what happens is just incredible. He starts working and he feels this energy, this power he's never known. He's chopping wood, picking fruit, selling it at the market, and he just doesn't stop. He's absolutely shocked at himself, and he's sure it's all because of that magic ash.
I mean, look at this timeline. The speed is just mind-blowing. On day 1, 5,000 rupees. In 1 week, the laziest guy in town earns almost the entire amount he needs. The belief that he has this magic on his side turns him into an absolute machine.
And this is a huge moment. He goes back to that same wealthy merchant who shut him down, but he's not begging this time. He's walking in there with his head held high, not asking for a handout, but offering to work for the rest of the money.
And the merchant, he's just floored. He gives him an impossible task,
plow a huge field overnight, and Dheeraj does it. The merchant is so blown away by this new work ethic that he ends up paying him more than he needed, pushing him way over his goal. And that's it. He did it. He gets the money, pays for the surgery, and his father makes a full recovery. And it wasn't some outside miracle that saved him, it was just pure, hard, backbreaking work from his son.
You'd think the story ends there, right? Father's safe, son's a new man. But hold on, because there's one last, really important piece of this puzzle still to come. He's a changed man for sure, but he still has one more lesson to learn.
So a while later, Dheeraj is out working in the forest again, and who does he run into? The Brahmin. He is overjoyed to see him and just starts thanking him over and over for the magic ash that he is convinced changed his life.
And this is the big reveal. The Brahmin just smiles and tells him the truth. That pouch? It was just filled with plain old ash from a fire. The magic wasn't in the pouch. It was inside Dheeraj the entire time. The ash was just a placebo, a little trick to make him finally believe in himself.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? This story shows us that the greatest miracles aren't things you find, they're things you unlock inside yourself, usually when you have no other choice. Which leaves us all with a pretty powerful question. What magic ash are we waiting for to finally get to work and unleash the potential that's already there?